Hola, and welcome back to Noche UFC recap. I feel like I had to do that.
Hey, hola is crazy.
Show off the Mexican heritage. I'm not Mexican.
We didn't say bonjour last week for Paris.
We didn't, but I feel like this fight card was more focused on Mexican heritage. Speaking of which, we're all back in the MMA war room. Shrikar Gender, Chris Schroyer, I'm Sam Corcoran. Guys, a lot of Mexican fighters winning on this card. All the true Mexican fighters went 5-0, and then the fighters with Mexican heritage also got some wins. The main event including Diego Lopes and Jean Silva. Guys, overall thoughts on the card. I'll start with you guys first.
It was a good card. It was a good card that got saved by the main event, I will say. I didn't go into this card with high expectations to begin with. I thought this was essentially kind of like a missed opportunity and a fumble by the UFC because there were so many different fighters that you could have had here, a lot of more high-profile matchups that you could have had here that just didn't happen. Like, for example, Jared Gordon versus Rafa Garcia could have been on the prelims. Did not have to be the featured bout of this card. And especially if you hype up Noche as much as you do, you're expected to kind of keep that mantle high. But in terms of the actual fight night itself, not bad. Definitely some snoozers. And we're going to get into it in a little bit. But that main event, I think, was easily, no doubt, a top 3 fight this year. I think it is arguably the fight of the year. If you had it at 1 over Van or Royval, I wouldn't blame you. I think that was an absolutely incredible firefight between two very, very talented guys. And we're going to get into all in a little bit, but just early thoughts. Still a fumble by the UFC, but main event definitely saved it.
Well, yeah, before we go, Chris, real quick, I just want to. Shrikar brought up snoozers. And speaking of snoozers, I need to address something about how I snoozed through the prediction picks. So, first of all, my fault. I'll tell you what happened. It was very late on Thursday night. I was getting tired. And I just started thinking, I was thinking of UFC in general. We're getting ready. I was like, oh, what's after this? Oh, UFC Perth. Oh, what is on this fight? Oh, Junior Tafa is in this fight. And I immediately fell asleep.
D1 hater on that Tafa Aslan fight.
Yeah, I literally fell asleep when I thought of Junior. I didn't say Ibo Aslan. I said Junior Tafa. That's all I saw. I just thought of Junior Tafa and fell asleep immediately.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Nonetheless, predictions. Shrikar and I went.
We all went 7-7.
No, Chris was 1 up, I think. Let me check. I
because he missed on Font and Martinez.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I thought you got 2 lone wolves.
Guys, we had parity for the first time, and after all that parity, we all tied. It's actually insane. Did you hear that Gordon was in an accident before his fight?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Hey, and shout out to Bilal for the information. But that was bro. I was like wondering why he had that knee brace on. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. Once you hear the name Tafa, you fall asleep. Reasonable excuse. Yeah, Junior or Justin Tafa. I was about to say Jason Tafa.
Jason Tafa. So Shrikar and I went 6-8. Actually, we finished for the first time. We finished with losing records. Shrikar and I. Chris finishes at 500 at 7-7.
Needed it. I needed it.
He needed it bad. After finishing with a losing record in Paris, he needed it bad.
Yeah, Paris seems like a death.
Hey, for a throwaway week and only losing by 1, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Chris, sorry, I interrupted you. What you got?
No, it's okay. I mean, Shrikar pretty much expressed all of my sentiments on this card. I think it could have been a better card, and obviously there were some very fun fights to watch, and then there were also some snoozers. I think it was awesome to kind of see all of the Mexican-American fighters win on Mexican Independence Day. So it felt very fitting to watch that happen. And they all put on great performances. They all came out. It seemed like they had a bone to pick with every fighter standing across.
Does this mean that we should just pick Australian fighters in 2 weeks?
Maybe, because I mean,
not the Tafa brothers. Not the Tafa brothers. I'll pick every Australian fighter but the Tafa brothers. Look, I'll put my name on that.
Also, like a lot of the French fighters won in France. So I told you, Shrikar, there's sometimes a little bit advantage to home octagon. Not a lot, but
that's just never been a thing in the past. Like, guys, the fact that this happened 2 weeks in a row is so improbable, and it just happens to go with his.
I guess I can't even say.
I'm still not buying it.
I can't even say home octagon because it happened in San Antonio, not even Mexico. So I guess. But look, a lot of the fighters of the Mexican heritage showed out in an amazing way. Canelo didn't, but shout out Canelo, Bud Crawford. That was an amazing fight. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm not going to promise that, but yeah, I think it was a solid card. We were talking about how Tatiana Suarez and Lemos were on the prelims and saying, how is that on the prelims? It's a 2 versus a 4. I think that fight literally proved why it should have been on the prelims, because I was as asleep as Sam was on Thursday night.
Loaded strawweight division's title eliminator, by the way.
But yeah, regardless, I think it was all right. Still a fumble by the UFC, but I had a fun time watching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into these fights, break them down one by one. Starting off with, I will also say about my predictions, I got the first 4 fights wrong, not including the no contest, which we'll talk about a little later. But Daniil Donchenko, a vicious knockout in round 1 over against Rodrigo Senzanando. This was just I think coming into this, and I wish I could say it on the podcast, I feel like this fight was gonna finish in a knockout either way. I obviously picked a different way, but Donchenko just proved like he was just a flat out better fighter. Vicious knockout for him. I don't really need to say much more for that. I mean, both these guys are very young into their UFC careers. So getting that first one under your belt for Donchenko is huge. And I think with that, if he has that power for a long time, he could terrorize this welterweight division, just coming up and using that knockout power. It's vicious, and that's something that people should be scared of, whoever fights him next. Still some skills to work on for sure, but it's very early on for him. And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to catch the waning moments of this fight. I went back and rewatched it. Obviously, I was getting out of a haircut, but Daniil Donchenko is going to be so fun at welterweight. Yep. Like his pressure, his timing, especially when to push versus when to back off. Like it was next level. Loved how he snuck in those tight elbows. I mean, the guy uses the elbows better than most guys we're seeing right now at welterweight, and they're a game changer. I don't think he's headed straight to a title shot or anything, but man, this guy is going to be in some absolute bangers. He is going to be here for entertaining fights and a good time. So definitely loved what I saw from Daniil Donchenko. This guy's going to be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I actually predicted the knockout. I saw Daniil finishing this fight. I did say it was going to be a little bit later in the fight. I thought Rodrigo's grappling prowess was going to play a little bit more of a factor in. I know there was a foul a little bit into the middle of the round. However, I don't think it was such a compromising foul where you could say, all right, that led to the fight being finished. I think Daniil saw blood. He got tagged up. He was bleeding a little bit. He just saw red, and man, he is a great striker. We saw it on The Ultimate Fighter. He's also a very fun personality. And shout out to Daniil Donchenko for, in his post-fight Octagon interview, he told Dana White, you don't even have to pay me. Just sign my best friend who is a fighter and in his corner. I think that is absolutely amazing. The fact that he was so selfless in victory and just wanted the best for the people around him. So I that was very interesting to see, and I think it should be taken into note.
Word of advice: never say that to Dana White, because he's actually not going to pay you for it.
Probably not, but yeah. Hey, you know what? Maybe he might sign his friend. His friend's 10-1, so we'll see. But regardless, Daniil put on a great performance. I want to do like a slight matchmaking for him. I could see him fighting Francisco Prado. Prado is 1-4 in the UFC. I think he really needs a prove it fight, and Donchenko needs a fight to boost his stock. Both of them like to stand and bang, and I think that would be a great fight. So maybe we could.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I like that. I think it makes sense. Also, this guy is probably one of the better Ultimate Fighter finalists we've seen in a while.
I
think about it. I think he definitely looks better than Joseph Morales. And obviously, Cezinando came into this fight saying, people that go through Ultimate Fighter, it's harder than Contender Series. Completely disagree with that. Contender Series is always going to reign supreme.
Definitely.
I've never been interested in Ultimate Fighter. I don't find it that appealing compared to Contender Series.
Tough is such a good reality TV show.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm watching reality TV anyway with the UFC. It's not like getting anything more from it. I've just never been that interested. It hasn't been my thing. I've always been more of a Contender Series fan. But again, Donchenko, good stuff. I'll be looking out for you. You are one of the good ones to come from Ultimate Fighter.
Absolutely. And we move on to women's, first of one of two women's fights of the division. Montse Rendon takes down Alice Pereira. Guys, the term that's being thrown around a lot right now, fraud check. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
I mean,
this is an instance where you can use it.
She's 19. How is she a fraud?
Because she wasn't ready.
Okay, but that's not a fraud. That's just she got boosted up by a company. That I don't think that was her being a fraud. And also, I mean, the line was even too. It's not like she was like a minus 300. She was minus 130. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, but I'll give more praise and props to Monte Rendon. And I think that she really used her experience and her age to get to Pereira. And I just think that Pereira, she could have done a little bit of a better job sticking with the not grappling, but I would say rolling with the grappling. She let the pressure get to her, and I think that's where she really crumbled. But I don't know if I can call her a fraud because she's 19. Like, she has so much room to grow. So maybe I'll disagree. I'll agree to disagree with you guys. Sam, what do you think?
I am like kind of in between you guys. I think with the hype coming into this fight for her, yes, absolute fraud check. But like you said, Chris, this is a 19-year-old fighter. You're going to lose at some point if you're a 19-year-old fighter, and it's better to do it sooner than later.
I agree.
Take that loss, build up, get that win next. If she doesn't win her next fight, absolutely fraud. We'll put it that way. You got to, in the UFC, your time is short. You got to make sure if you can't win one of your first two fights in the UFC, you're on the ropes of getting cut. I think after that second fight is when people can really say fraud check. Right. And I mean, yeah, the hype, she did not live up to the hype whatsoever, but I think there's a lot to do. It was still a split decision win, which on the record looks great. I thought Rendon won that fight pretty clearly, though. So also an impressive performance from Rendon. Maybe Rendon's just better than people thought she was coming into the fight. But I think all of us picked Pereira to win this fight and did not go that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the judges got it right. Rendon definitely won the second, and honestly, I'd give her the first and third too. Is she making waves in this division long term? Probably not, but hey, she's stacking wins. As for Pereira, I would not be shocked if she ends up being the real deal. She's still only 19. Think about it. Decade of experience under her belt. She's still going to be 29 years old. She's not even going to be in her fighting prime. So there's still time. It's a weak division too. Right. So I think her rise might take time, but I wouldn't count her out. But I do think, just by my criteria, it is a fraud check just because of the hype coming in. Obviously, everyone was excited about what Alice Pereira... Like, assume Raul Rosas lost his first fight. I'd call that a fraud check too. Personally. Because I think it's more hype-based than anything.
I can agree with that.
I think like a true fraud check is watching Patchy Mix fight against... who was it? Mario Bautista.
Yeah, I think that was a fraud check.
That is a fraud check.
For sure. I mean, and I'll give credit to Mario Bautista for that fight because, I mean, people overlook how good he looked in that fight. But
and now he's getting a damn near title eliminator shot after that, too. So it does say a lot. But with the hype coming about Patchy Mix was how favored he was against Mario Bautista. I'm one of the ones that picked Bautista, by the way. I know the podcast didn't exist, but I remember saying Mario Bautista is mine. Yeah, that was a fraud check. That's a true fraud check, though.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next fight. A guy that nobody really thought was people thought was probably a fraud coming in and ended up being the real deal. Alden Correa knocks out Alessandro Costa. It was a TKO, actually. And Costa broke his toe, it appeared. But I got to say, impressive win for Alden Correa. Texas native, by the way. So the Texas native gets it done. He's now won the majority of his fights by knockout with this win. He's on a three fight win streak by knockout. I like where Alden Correa is headed. And Chris, you said in the chat, you think Alden Correa is the real deal.
Yeah, I think he's the real deal. First of all, I should have listened to my guy Hey Jive's picks on Instagram, YouTube, wherever he is. He actually gave the prop of saying Alden Correa was going to win by knockout because Alessandro Costa is very chinny. which he was. Personally, I did not see that happening. I thought Costa was really going to swarm him, take the fight over in terms of control and just pressure. And that just actually did not happen from the get-go. It was all Correa from the beginning. I was very impressed with him. And I think he's a name that we need to start looking out for, because if he's gonna do that to, I wouldn't say like promising contenders, because Costa's very good, but I don't think he's over the top, like, wow, I see Alessandro Costa and I'm putting him in the rankings very soon. I think that Correa made a big statement with this, and we should all be on the lookout for him. And he might do this to a lot of other people. So,
yeah, he's the real deal. Respect Costa's game, super skilled, just not super active.
Right.
But Correa looked straight up better everywhere. His hands were sharp, and I loved how he handled the body triangle too. You can't ask for a much cleaner debut. So good work to Alden Correa. Definitely someone to look out for in the future.
And the broken toe did not contribute to the finish. Costa was getting worked before he broke.
Yeah, he was going to lose a decision if it came to it.
So I think it maybe led to the knockout, but definitely not the result of the fight in terms of who the winner was.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Well, we're not going to spend too much time on this next fight. The middleweight bout between Zachary Ruiz and Serdoukas Dumas. It was a no contest. But all I have to say, I just want to make a plea to the UFC. Please get rid of Dumas. Please. Like, this guy, he
didn't look bad.
He didn't look bad.
Seconds.
In 50, it was very quick. He's also one of the worst human beings the UFC has rostered. And cannot.
Well, you don't like armed robbery?
No, I'm not a fan of armed robbery, Chris. I know the UFC is all about, like, the UFC is all about free speech. And I think if you want to have someone that may not say the best things, like a Colby Covington, I think it's okay. I understand that. But actions, I think, speak a lot louder than words. And this is where I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I wish I got this out in the pre-fight episode. Please get Serdoukas Dumas out of the UFC. That's all I beg for you. That's all I got to say about this fight.
Yeah, on the one hand, you always want to give fighters the benefit of the doubt in these kinds of situations, especially with a nut shot. On the other hand,
that was bad.
It's Serdoukas Dumas. Like, I feel no. I feel so bad.
I feel no sympathy.
No sympathy at all.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see the ref take the full time before making a decision. I feel like they called it off way too early, but
he was trending towards not fighting. It was like 3.5 minutes into the stoppage.
Yeah, but you have 5 minutes for a reason. I don't think there's any reason not to take the 5 minutes. But it's a tough break for Reese. Shame we didn't get to see more from him here. Yeah, that's all I got to say about it. No contest. What more can you do?
Yeah, no contest, no comment. I think that's a good rule to have about the fight, personally.
Yeah, pretty much it. I don't have much to say. It's just, all I'm saying is I felt that through the TV. That like hurt me watching that. But it just brutal on both ends, and it is what it is. It's like if you know, you know, and what else do I have to say about it? So that's pretty much it.
Well, let's move on to the first lone wolf pick of the night. That was correct. Jesus Aguilar, the guy that Chris picks, beats Luis Garule, who, yes, absolutely needed that. That street card I picked. My whole thing with this fight, it was a unanimous decision win. I think it was I think it was the correct call. I think it was a lot closer than it was, because I think at the end of the day, look, Aguilar got round one pretty handily, and Garule just could not recover from that, I felt like. And that's all it was. Jesus Aguilar gets a good start, the second Mexican fighter to win, first male Mexican fighter to win. I like where he's headed. You get off to a fast start. I think in flyweight especially, where you see a lot of these guys historically have gone to decision in flyweight, getting off to those fast starts is huge. So I think where his head is at, how that fight went, it definitely gives me some optimism for Jesus Aguilar. I like where he's heading after this. Yeah,
I very much agree. I was kind of on the fence about it going into the fight. I know I picked Aguilar, but I was like, ooh, you know what? Garule is, or like he has the skills to combat Aguilar's style. I mean, in the first round, like you said, Sam, he came out very strong. He landed a few big punches too, which, when you land a few big punches, the other fighter kind of takes a step back and they're like, oh, okay, now I'm going to be a little bit cognizant of what's coming at me. And I'm going to be a little hesitant because you don't want to get caught by that huge overhand that Aguilar throws, especially the uppercuts, things like that. And Aguilar is a good wrestling base. So even if you counter, he might be able to land a takedown. And then guess what? Now you're on the floor for a few minutes. So I think Gurule did a great job in the second round of sitting down on strikes, being more patient, not letting himself or not presenting himself to being available to those big counter shots like he was in the first round, as well as the takedowns. But in the third round, Jesus Aguilar just came out with the Mexican fighting spirit of it's 1-1. I am winning this fight, regardless of what you want to do. And I just think it was a great performance. It was a good performance from Gurule too. I think Gurule getting dropped in the middle of the third round definitely sealed the deal. And he was going to need a crazy knockdown after that. But I think it was a very solid performance from Aguilar. He did slow down a little bit, so the cardio maybe just stopped throwing as hard. He was trying to take his head off every single punch. But regardless, I think it was a good performance from Aguilar as well as Gurule. I'm not saying it was a bad performance from him.
Yeah, I'm not as high on the Gurule performance as you are. I mean, what a fall, first of all. This dude looked like a killer on Contender Series, but after that brutal debut loss to Odie Osborne, it's like he lost all faith in his chin, and maybe for good reason. Aguilar's got power. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, I'll let you finish. My bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. What do you want to say?
I was going to say, we talked about fraud checks earlier. I'm not saying this was a fraud check, but usually after your first 2 UFC losses, this is where you can step in and be like, okay, Luis Gurule may be a fraud. Do I agree with it? No, but I can now see the take.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I still think Gurule looked like the more dangerous guy out there and still let it slip away. That said, Jesus Aguilar is always fun. Not the most polished guy, but he's violent and never puts on a snoozer. Always of value to the UFC. So I hope he gets a bit of shine after this one. Probably one more win, and you'd be looking at potentially a ranked opportunity for Jesus Aguilar. But we'll see where it goes from there. But good win. I'm just not as high on Gurule as you are, Chris.
That's fine.
Also, shout out to former.
I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Shout out to former Oakland Athletic Jesus Aguilar. While we're talking about a different Jesus Aguilar,
dude.
Anytime I can throw in an A's reference, I will. Oakland A's reference, that is. Anyways, let's move on to the absolutely loaded strawweight division.
and one of the worst fights I think I've seen.
Yeah, that fight was genuinely atrocious. That entire take is starting to age more and more like spoiled milk, especially with Zhang Weili leaving the division. But Tatiana Suarez gets it done against Amanda Lemos, a heavy favorite. I mean, this fight was boring. I'll keep it quick. This fight was boring. Tatiana Suarez is one of the better fighters in the UFC strawweight division, but it's just like there's not much there. And Chris, I know you have a lot to say about Tatiana Suarez, so
I mean,
I'll let you take it away.
I wouldn't say it's a lot to say. I would just say she's not an MMA fighter. She's a wrestler. And that's like, if you watch her fights, you would completely understand what I mean. She poses no threat in striking, no threat in, I wouldn't say grappling because grappling and wrestling are the same thing. I would say she poses no threat in striking. It's just she shoots for the takedown. She'll hold you against the fence for however long she wants to. She'll work for the takedown, and then she'll work to absolutely nothing with the takedown. Maybe she'll try and get a submission, but that's very rare. It just looks like she's trying to lay on Lemos or her opponent and kind of just bypass the 15-minute fight. It's like she's not working towards a finish or, oh, I'm going to make this an entertaining fight. No, she just wants to get through the rounds and win. And in my opinion, look, it works. You can 100% do that. And if you win, you win. And I'm not discrediting that. But if you want to go anywhere in the UFC or you want to be, promoted as a prize fighter, someone that wants to be, on the covers of posters and things like that, that's not the way to do it. And that's been proven time and time again. So good win for Suarez. But Lemos came on in those last 30 seconds and showed her, hey, this is MMA. I'm gonna start punching you now, and you're gonna have to take it. And that literally won her the third round. It's just sad that she didn't get to do it before then. But hey, I took a stab on the underdog and I missed. So you win some, you lose some.
And this is also, I think to that point, Chris, this is also why I don't believe Tatiana Suarez will ever be a champion, whether or not, if she gets another title fight, because she's not an MMA fighter. And this is why Zhang Weili killed her. And this is also why, and this is pre-war room, but I remember when she was the favorite against Zhang Weili, I'm like, I literally, my friend, I was visiting a buddy that weekend, and he just wanted to place a parlay down on UFC, and he was like, well, what's the best fight? And I look at the odds as someone that doesn't bet. I was like, are you kidding me? Zhang Weili is the underdog, and I literally told him, if you don't put $10 on that, you're stupid. And he put $10 on that, and he won. I'm like, yeah, thank God. So yeah, and I just don't think anyone is. I don't think she can be a champion. Like I think Jandiroba, I think Mackenzie Dern, whoever wins that fight, I think that's probably what's next for Tatiana Suarez, and I don't see Tatiana Suarez winning that fight because she just doesn't have it all. She's probably the best wrestler in strawweight. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, she could Hamzat someone.
She could
lay on you for 25 minutes and skirt it out. But
against Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern, I'm not 100% sure.
Hey, Rick, the dating apps for me are going as bad as this fight was. So that's your answer.
Good answer.
I think you guys are going a little overboard by saying she's not an MMA fighter. Mind you, before she even fought Zhang Weili and took rounds off her, by the way, she submitted Jessica Andrade. She submitted Montana De La Rosa.
No grappling. No grappling.
It's a submission. Is that not grappling? I mean, I'm not here to defend Tatiana Suarez, but again, that wasn't a fun one, but probably did enough to earn Suarez a title shot. Maybe she gets the winner of Jandiroba versus Dern, unless Zhang drops back to 115. Honestly, I think the flip side of this is Lemos should have done more. Felt like she had the better tools once they settled in, just didn't make the right reads, and Suarez took advantage. So I think the flip side of this is we should probably bash the loser of this fight too.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, Lemos had great defense. She had great defense.
I don't know. I think it's the Aldo Bautista argument where I feel like Jose Aldo just should have done more. Get out of those positions. Do something.
I agree, but Suarez is an Olympic level wrestler. So it's like that is her strong suit, but she is not nearly as good anywhere else in the fight game.
And yet she is probably the best wrestler in this division.
Sorry, Sam, which is saying a lot for this division.
I think if Suarez does end up getting the title shot, it is a pure indictment on this entire division. So there are my thoughts on that.
If Suarez gets a title shot, this division is going.
Yeah. Oh,
no one is going to watch strawweight.
So loaded strawweight division is aging like spoiled milk if she gets the next title shot.
So here's my
what they should do is last point out. I think what they should do is put Lupi and Yan Xiaonan as another fight, and then those two winners fight each other. That's what I think they should do.
So good segue into my piece of matchmaking here. I do Tatiana Suarez versus Tabitha Ricci. Especially if Zhang is staying up at 125 and the Jandiroba versus Dern winner isn't ready to go in soon. So why not keep Suarez active? I think Ricci's a solid next step. She's gritty and she'll give Suarez a look that she hasn't seen in a while. And plus, it gives Yan Xiaonan time to do her own thing, maybe against Lupi, as Sam mentioned. So I think that's a nice little bracket system you could have going. Suarez and Ricci, whoever wins that probably will get the next title shot. Yan and Lupi that winner might have to go one more time. But honestly, if the division is active, that winner can also get a title shot right after. So anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Again, not a fun fight. Not at all. We're not going to sugarcoat it. I feel like things are going a little overboard when we're not giving Suarez her due respect and calling her just a wrestler, because she's shown in the past she's not just a wrestler, but even when she wrestles, she does it very, very good. So, Tatiana Suarez got it done, and we'll see how the division moves going forward.
I agree. I like the Ricci fight because Ricci's a good grappler and she can actually strike. So I would like to see how that goes for Suarez.
Yeah, it would definitely be Suarez's biggest threat since Zhang Weili. And honestly, it could pose just as big a threat, I would say.
I agree. I mean, Zhang Weili dominated her, and she was the whole package. And I'm not saying Richie is Zhang Weili, but I think
in those clinch situations too, we saw how Richie, does her work, with the elbows against T-Boss. How will Suarez react to that? I think it would definitely be sort of not necessarily a litmus test. I think Suarez has passed the litmus test at this point.
Right. Yeah. It's more of a
how good are you?
Exactly. It's like a paper test.
For sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. But she got it back in blood for Patchy Mix. There wasn't any blood involved, but she got it back in lay and pray.
And I'm sorry, Tatiana Suarez. I'm not discrediting your win. You had a great win. I just want to see a little bit more from you in the other facets of MMA.
Yeah, anyway. I have to agree.
Totally. Well, let's move on to a lightweight bout where, Chris, another lone wolf pick for you, taking Joaquim Suarez. Sorry, not Joaquim Suarez.
Joaquim Silva.
Tatiana Silva.
Claudio Puelles. That was actually insane. I literally won that pick in the last 20 seconds of the fight. It was 1-1 going to the third round. Puelles pretty much controlling the third round. He had good control time. And then he started gassing a little bit. And Silva, once he broke into that space, he said, all right, this is my time. I know what I need to do. Drops Puelles. I wouldn't say bad, but he folded him to his knees. And that won him the round. It was a split decision. Personally, I think that should have won him the round regardless. But look, Puelles, I discredited him. I said he was the lightweight Paul Craig. He fared a little bit better than Paul Craig does in his fights. He was very dominant on the ground as well. He had some pretty good takedowns, and he did work towards finishes. And Silva did a good job of not succumbing to those submissions. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a solid fight, and Silva just did a good job of overcoming adversity to get the win in the last 20 seconds. And I was 20 seconds away from losing a lone wolf pick. So I got to thank you, Joaquim Silva. You're the man.
Yeah. Classic Puelles fight. He's slick on the ground, but man, the guy seems like he's allergic to pain. The pain tolerance is not there. Got behind again because of some really bad fight IQ. Silva did just enough to edge out 2 rounds, but honestly, this feels more like a Puelles loss than a Silva win. Shoot it to you straight. But yeah, that's all the thoughts I got on that.
I definitely agree with that.
I wasn't overly impressed by either fighter. Silva will still probably be like a meaningful player in this division. But Puelles, man, not good.
Yeah, and by the way, this fight was literally a coin flip. It was basically a split odds pick'em fight. And it ended up being as close as it could get. So that's when the odds are just those were some good odds, and that's when the odds kind of resemble what the actual fight is going to be like. I'll put it that way. That's kind of what speaking of the odds resembling what the fight was actually going to be like, this was a no-brainer pick for, I think, all of us. Duško Todorovic, submit Jose Daniel Medina. I mean, I don't really have much to say. I thought this was going to be a dominant win for Todorovic. And it was. That's all I really need to say. I can move forward. He's definitely he's definitely stacking up some great wins in the middleweight division, moving on up. I like where he's at right now.
Yeah. Chicken Farmer versus Timu Dustin Poirier, middleweight Timu Dustin Poirier, and Timu Dustin Poirier gets it done. If Medina was going to get a UFC win, it had to be against this guy. But nope. Couldn't drag it into the later rounds. And now Todorovic has got a UFC win on his record in the big 2025. Absolutely insane that this was the prelim headliner.
First win since 2022. So when I say stacking up some wins, I meant stacking up a win. My bad. Let me just recorrect that.
Yeah, why was this the prelim headliner? I have so many questions. This was not a good fight at all, but Dusko got it done. Good stuff. We move on.
Yeah, I mean, I said first round knockout. It was a first round finish, so I count that as a half win in my book. But
valid.
Yeah, it was. You can't really expect too much from Jose Medina. I felt for him after the fight, though. He seemed very distraught. Dusko was trying to, cheer him up and be like, "Hey, come on, great fight. Thank you for taking the fight." And Medina was just a little bit in his own head. Hard to not be after his recent trend of fights. But yeah.
Real quick, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they should try a ladder match in the UFC at some point.
I was reading that. I wanted to address that.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be good in a fight with like Tatiana Suarez and Amanda Lemos, where it's just boring as hell. Maybe you just like, if the fans can vote, is the fight boring right now? And if it's yes, then they have to do that. And if it's no, they just keep going.
Now that UFC is on, I mean, the ideas are endless. Rick, you keep feeding us these ideas; they're endless. I think it's the funnel system is interesting too. I was reading that. I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to probably say something during Suarez and Lemos, but like neither of them qualify for that, so it didn't really matter. No disrespect to Patchy Mix, that's your girl. I'm sorry. They got to start thinking outside the box. I mean, I wouldn't say it's cookie cutter, and we're having fun.
It's not cookie cutter. I mean, yeah, MMA is growing. I don't think you need to try to. You don't fix things that are broken. We'll put it that way.
One guy that's not boring. Can we get to him real quick?
Yeah, let's get to him.
Santiago Luna.
Oh my God!
Ooh. Oh man, he is the real deal. That was not Hell by
Border Boy.
Not the Lone Wolf. But Streetcar and I took this one.
No. You and Chris took this one.
Yeah, no, me and you took
bad.
this one.
Yeah, I took Quang Lee.
Man, this was a fun one. And by the way, speaking of bantamweight, just so many. This was a great night for bantamweight. Yeah, this, and then you had another fight, which we'll get to. But Chris, I'll let you start with this one, man. What were your thoughts on this fight? Any guys next for Santiago Luna?
I was nervous after he got dropped in the first.
Oh yeah,
minute. I think he got dropped twice in the first minute. I was like, oh no, that's not looking too good for me and you, Sam. But
yeah,
I think it might have just been a little bit of I would say like not nerves, but I would say unpreparedness. Obviously, he took this fight on extremely short notice because David Martinez moved up to fight Rob Font, which Shrikar feels a certain way about David Martinez. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, I think Santiago Luna, once he locked in and just realized, all right, these are the stakes of the moment. This is what I need to do. I think he did a tremendous job of situational awareness, locking in, showing off his hands. Someone who's like mostly a submission guy. He has 4 wins by submission in his career, only 1 knockout in 6 wins. And I think that he said he has hands. He said, I wanted to show everyone that this is what I do for a living. He's 21. The sky is the limit for this guy. Sky is the limit. Maybe. I would say maybe he just has a really high floor right now. We'll put it at that. I think David Martinez, the sky's the limit for that guy. But I would say Santiago Luna, he has a very high floor right now. Like I see him going decently far, especially with 7 pro fights, excuse me.
Oh,
so, yeah, I was impressed, and I think we're going to be hearing from him in the future.
Santiago Luna, ladies and gentlemen, what a W. That was a scrap. Quang Lee landed a beautiful shot early and was working well off it, but Luna made all the right adjustments. Chris mentioned it. Grappled early, and when he found that knockdown shot, he closed it out like a pro. You could maybe worry about the chin long term, but this was one hell of a UFC debut. Before we start rushing Luna toward ranked guys, I think we should give him someone who's on thin ice in the UFC. And I think Ricky Turcios is that guy.
Dude, that's crazy. I was just going to say Ricky Turcios.
Ricky Turcios probably needs a win to stick around, so this is Luna's chance to make a name for himself and send someone home in the process, and I think that should be the next fight. And then if he wins that, feel free to kind of get it sped along because this guy looked really, really good in his debut.
Shrikar, I see our brain wavelengths like radiating through the screen.
For sure.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I think y'all are on the right track with that. I was gonna go MSP Cameron Simon, also in the UFC. He's had 3 straight losses.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a Cam Simon. Simon's not nice too. He's knocked out.
You guys are on the same track. With me. I think I think he's a little. I think he could take a bit of a bigger step up. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. with him. But I think I like where our heads are at. You don't want to rush this guy. He needs a little more time for sure. But he's on the right track, and I like where he's headed, like we said. Let's move on to a fight where I'll start this one off. Alexander Hernandez takes down Diego Ferreira, and I need to hop on the Alexander Hernandez trade because I've been disrespecting this guy. I will admit it myself. He fights Chase Hooper. I'm like, oh man, Chase Hooper's gonna kill him. He beats Chase Hooper. I'm like, well, it's one fight. Maybe Chase Hooper's a fraud. Oh, Diego Ferreira's next. Man, you guys picked Hernandez. I was so convinced that Diego Ferreira was going to win this.
He looked great, though. Not going to lie.
Yeah. He did look great. He did look great. But Hernandez gets it done, man. I need to stop disrespecting him and stop playing around. Diego Ferreira is a legit fighter. And the fact that Hernandez has just beat not only him, but one of the best prospects at the lightweight division says a lot to me. I think he's ready for a bigger step up. I don't think you're not looking at the rankings yet, obviously. But I think you're actually pretty close. What about like an Ignacio Bahamondes? I think that's actually a really good one. You're close to the rankings. You've just proven that you can be two of the best. I mean, Ferreira's one of the best unranked guys right now. Chase Hooper is one of the best prospects. Why don't you combine the two? Probably the best unranked prospect right now, outside of Mauricio Hufi, who I think Hufi can get better fight than
I was going to say, what if you give him Hufi?
I was going to say Hufi too.
I would say Hufi. I mean, Hufi's outside
I don't
of the
know
rankings.
about Hufi, man.
Hernandez is right on top of the rankings. Why not give him
and also Hernandez is still trying to make people forget the losing skid he was on. And Hufi needs a bounce back opponent after Paris. So I think this would be a great test for both.
I agree.
Looking at where they're going in the division. Hernandez gets a real name. Hufi gets a comeback shot. Let him scrap. It's going to be a good fight. But also, I don't know what that stoppage was. And it's God. It's not for the reason. It's for the complete opposite reason of you guys. I think it was an early stoppage. I think it was early. Ferreira was dodging like 10 ground shots after he got dropped. Only one of them even landed clean, and the ref just jumped in.
Bro, I'm going to disagree, excuse me.
I don't think any of them really landed clean for real.
But Ferreira was like unconscious when he stopped it. Like he was unconscious like 3
after one even landed. I mean, that was wild to me, but hey, Hernandez is not complaining at the end of the day.
I thought it was like, oh my gosh, we're witnessing another Bobby Green or King Green.
Nah, I don't think so, to be honest. He was definitely, Hernandez was definitely starting to fall behind in this fight. We need to talk about that first. And now he walks away with the win. I thought he was going to lose in that second round, but as soon as he connected with that one, he closed it out. And you got to take those and run. So
did you see the hematoma on Ferreira's head after that elbow?
Again, yeah,
nasty.
That elbow was crazy.
It was nasty. Yeah, I mean, look, great win from Hernandez, though. I thought he really did a good job of kind of weathering the early storm that Ferreira was throwing at him. And then, look, that's why I love UFC. That's why I love MMA. It's the beauty of the sport. It only takes one. It only takes one shot to change the entire fight. Mm-hmm. And Hernandez was patient and landed it. He landed a big shot, and that was it. But yeah, I think him versus Hufi would be a great fight, in my opinion.
I think we're kind of on the same wavelength. I mean, I think Bahamondes is just, and maybe I'm just not off the Alexander Hernandez disrespect train yet, because I feel like y'all have I think Hufi, it might be a bit of a bigger step up than Bahamondes.
But like who is Hufi gonna fight? Because he's out of the rankings now, and Hernandez is actually like right on top of the rankings. So it's like that. If anything, that would be like a ranking eliminator. Do you think
Hakparast would be better for Hufi? Because that's kind of what I was thinking. Hakparast and Hufi.
Not if they want to maximize entertainment.
Yeah, if they want entertainment, Hufi versus Hernandez, someone is dying in that octagon.
That is valid. That is valid. But I mean, you want to talk about terrible stoppage? I know we said maybe we'll talk about Canelo Crawford later, but can I just pull up this stoppage because what in the
that
world
was
are we
nuts.
doing here?
That was
What in the
nuts.
world? Oh,
It's over. It's over. No, that boxing is a rigged sport, bro. I agree with that comment. That is
that is one of the worst.
most
stoppages
I
ridiculous.
don't want to get
ever.
copyrighted, but so I'm gonna take it down. But yeah, I agree. That was a terrible
It's
stoppage.
it's on Twitter. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's beyond me. Like, I didn't really see like what happened before that, but I mean, if he was like really, really piecing him up, then like maybe I could see it. But I just feel like that's
I don't know. I just feel like he would put his hands down and was just like bouncing around, and then they stopped. Did you hear him yelling?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Like
I'd feel bad too. I mean, you put in all that work and you go through a whole camp, and your fight ends like that. Like I'd be brutal about it too.
Let's go from crazy stoppage to low-key crazy fighting Gastelum Stoltzfus. Like I did not expect that.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's get into that. I mean, what do you guys think of this? A UD from Gastelum.
Low-key a war. That was like a low-key war. Stoltzfus, yo, props to you. I thought your chin was gone. And you ate so many big shots. And then landed your own. It was like, and then also on the other hand, you have Gastelum who comes in. No disrespect, Kelvin Gastelum. I've followed you for a very long time, but you came in looking like the Michelin Man, bro. You looked really big. I thought that was going to be a kind of a downside of you winning this fight, but you stuck through it. You got kind of dogged in the first round, and then you really weathered the storm, and you locked in. You did the Kelvin Gastelum eat punches, throw back bigger punches. And I thought it was a solid performance from both of these fighters. It was a very entertaining fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, big time win for Gastelum here. Honestly, if he'd lost this one, there's a real chance he was looking at the chopping block.
Yeah.
Only complaint on KG's side is I wish he pushed the pace a bit more because Stoltzfus was starting to break late, but still Gastelum got the win. Can't complain about that when your job might be on the line. The weirdest part is really that whole weight miss situation. Just
5 pounds.
Weird. Especially when you're a former welterweight. Like, hopefully it doesn't become a trend, but for now, he lives to fight another day. The UFC probably keeps him around. But moving forward, he's not going to get any big names. He's not going to be getting any favors done for him. I think Kelvin Gastelum, someone like Cesar Almeida makes sense. It's a winnable fight and a chance to get back on track without the pressure necessarily. But yeah, I think that's what's next. But again, if you're a middleweight, as a former welterweight, we saw it with Brian Battle. You better be making that weight. I think he was lucky enough to have the fight still keep going. And honestly, I'm not really sure what happens with Stoltzfus. I feel like he's probably going to get cut, but
yeah, I would think Stoltzfus gets cut.
But yeah, anyways, good win for KG.
Yeah, I think you're not going to get any favors after missing weight. It's a good win. He was favored to win. The weight cut, that's kind of bad. I think next up for him, part of me wants to say Bo Nickel, but I just know he would be killed by Bo Nickel. But maybe if the UFC isn't happy with him, maybe that's what they do. I also like Cesar Almeida. I think one of those two fights would be a good idea.
Don't be afraid to call an unprofessional piece of you-know-what an unprofessional piece of you-know-what. He always misses weight. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you like how it is. It is completely unprofessional. We saw it with Kita just last week, too. I was completely on Pitbull's side. Like, why should I do you any favors? You missed weight, and you had all the advantages. I feel like when you miss weight, it's never going to be a good look. No matter what it is, it's not going to be a good look because you have a lot of time to do it. If you're a UFC fighter, you should probably be hiring a nutritionist, someone that can at least track your progress as you're cutting the weight. And a lot of fighters do good. They do good with that. But, obviously there's some that don't. And we see that constantly. Kelvin should consider transitioning to sumo wrestling.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a crazy thing, but...
Hey, sure.
I wouldn't say Gastelum always misses weight. I believe it's only been like 4 times out of 24 UFC fights.
4 times missing weight is pretty significant.
No, I mean that is at the same time. It's like he literally has a YouTube video called YouTube series called "Missing Weight with Kelvin Gastelum."
Yeah, like you're doing it to yourself.
But clearly UFC doesn't care enough if they just don't care. So it's like, I mean, he gets away with it every time and he pays the fine. So, I mean, like, what are we going to do? It's like, there's nothing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he should get punished a little bit more. I think that's a little ridiculous.
I mean, he did get the 35% fine is a pretty big punishment.
I know. But like, still, 5 pounds is a fight-changing weight.
That's egregious. Yeah.
Yeah. And in some states, like you remember in
Chicago, they don't let you fight.
They don't let you fight over that. Yeah. In Illinois, I should say. Chicago's not a state, but some states, some countries don't let you do that. Yeah, he's on the Doritos
sure Chicago isn't a state?
The country of Paris.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The country of Chicago.
The country of Chicago. The village of Chicago, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's move on to the feature bout. We talked about a little earlier how Jared Gordon came into this fight injured. I mean, first of all, let's just say shout out to Jared Gordon for still like he could have pulled out of this fight, and he decided to stay in it. He got killed. Rafa Garcia gets the win here. But shout out to Jared Gordon. Rafa Garcia, though, a big win for him. Shrikar, Chris, I'll let you guys start this off. What do you think for this one?
Yeah, Rafa Garcia absolutely made the most of the shot he was given. And Jared Gordon, man, I thought this guy was a lock. I thought he was going to win this pretty easily. And then I saw the knee brace and I started worrying about it. I think
you were the only one that picked him, too.
No, me and Chris both picked him.
I Jared Gordon.
This was a war, though. Gordon looked sharp early, landing clean shots and mixing in just enough grappling threat to stay unpredictable. But then Garcia started landing those elbows. And once that happened, the whole fight flipped. Gordon couldn't stop the momentum, and Garcia just snowballed him to the finish. Got to respect both guys. Tons of grit on display, but Garcia was the one who got it done. So I guess next up for Rafa Garcia, I'm eyeing this match between Matt Frivola and Kyle Nelson.
Ooh,
probably the loser of that fight, but either way, if Garcia can beat Matt Frivola or Kyle Nelson, it might be time to take him seriously as a contender. I think he's earning his way into the conversation. This was a good win over Jared Gordon, but obviously we know the circumstances. Gordon was compromised. But anyways, good opportunity for Garcia. He got it done in front of, I guess, his home crowd in San Antonio, not Mexico, but he had Mexican fans in attendance. But again, good win here.
Yeah, I think agree. You got it, Sam. Go.
I was gonna say, I think a good matchup for him. Let's match him up with someone else who fought on this card, Diego Fajeda. One's coming off a win, one's coming off a loss. I feel like they're fairly close to each other.
If Fajeda doesn't retire, then sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Fajeda could retire. Yes, that too. If he does retire, I also like the Frivola Cal Nelson match. I actually think the better one. There's a match the week after. It's scheduled for Abu Dhabi. Ludwig Klein taking on Mateusz Rebecki. The loser of that, I think, would also be a good win. Rebecki came close to the rankings before he lost. And Klein's also fought some pretty notable guys in the UFC. I think either of those guys would work out well.
Yeah, I like both of your guys' takes. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at either one. First of all, shout out Matt Frivola, Steamroller Frivola, LI, baby, LI. I see Rick in the comments says that cowboy hat gives away you're in Texas. We are not in Texas.
We are not in Texas.
I'm a West Coast boy.
I'm from Long Island, and I'm a Cowboys fan, so you can give me.
He is a Yankees and Cowboys fan. He is literally the meme of the bandwagon fan.
And a Knicks fan.
And a Knicks fan. Don't worry, I'm not a Lakers
fan.
No,
he's not a. Yeah, I was gonna. Well, Lakers would have been worse. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
I'm not a Lakers or
Yankees,
an Edmonton Oilers
Cowboys,
fan. Yeah, it is what it is. Great win for the boys today, though. I think I developed high blood pressure because of it. So, yeah.
And me and Sam, obviously Bay Area, bred and raised, and you know how we rock with it. So. No Texas here. No Texas.
And shout out Lucas in the comments from Brazil. That's awesome, my man. Thank you for tuning in.
Shout out. What up, Lucas? I don't know any Portuguese, unfortunately.
Yes, I do not know Portuguese, and I'm not going to act like I do, but I do know Italian, and that I could tell that says you're from Brazil. So
I'm low-key. I'm picking up Portuguese from listening to the Brazilian fighters. Luta means fight. I know that now. Every single sentence I hear Brazilian fights chant luta, I'm like, bro, that has to be something fight related.
Yeah, I just translated this comment. Put a translator in Portuguese. We might need to work on that. We'll work on
we
the
should,
settings,
my
see what we
man.
can do.
First of all, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate
also, muy feliz. Muy feliz means very happy, right? Muy feliz, something like that. I'm getting much
obrigado.
wrong.
Obrigado,
happy,
I
right?
believe.
Obrigado is thank you.
Yeah, Lucas, obrigado.
Obrigado, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I thought it was a solid fight. Loki did have fireworks, even though it wasn't over the top. First of all, shout out Jared Gordon for not saying anything, making no excuses for himself, coming out in a knee brace, and just absolutely putting on a display of a warrior. But yeah, I thought it was a solid fight. Rafa Garcia really did what he needed to do to kind of cement himself as a player, like in this division. I'm not saying over the top in terms of, wow, I think this guy's going to be, an automatic top 10 contender, or the next champion. But I think we should be taking a deeper look at him. I think that's what he did with this performance. And like both you guys said, he made the best of it. He made the best of the spotlight. He earned a knockout. And even though Jared Gordon's knee was, messed up from that car accident the day before, I still don't think that should downplay the performance that Rafa Garcia had. And I think it was fun to watch. There was a lot of action. They were swinging for the fences. So great fight and great win.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the two ranked fights on this main card, which is kind of crazy to say. First of all, on the main card.
On the main
card. Yeah, on the main card. Shrikar, I'll let you start with this one off because I know you have so much to say about David Martinez's win over Rob Font.
Yes, he's him. He's him. Yeah, let's talk about it. David Martinez might have been the breakout star of Noche, in my opinion. Yeah, we had finishes. 100%. We had a main event that delivered, but Martinez, for me, I'm not salty saying this. This dude stole the show. He's only 27 years old, and he's already a legit top 10 bantamweight. Oh, and by the way, he's also a doctor, like a medical doctor. Like this guy could patch you up after choking you out. It's insane. And the win over Rob Font, that wasn't just a win. It was a statement. Because here's the thing about Rob Font. He's the ultimate vet test. He is the guy who derails hype trains. Kyler Phillips, John Matsumoto, Adrian Yanez. They all found that out the hard way. Font reads guys and basically turns their potential off. Martinez had to survive that in the second round. I think Font started finding his rhythm, landing clean, just doing what he does. But Martinez adjusted. He didn't crumble. He leveled up. Now, I'm not saying he's ready for a title eliminator tomorrow. The top of the division is still stacked. I mean, Petr Yan's probably next for the belt, and you've got guys like O'Malley, Song Yadong, Umar, Bautista. Those guys are all circling the top. But there is still a lot of room for Martinez to shine. If you're the UFC, you have to get behind this guy. And the names I'm thinking right now, Chito Vera, Davison Figueiredo. Either one of those fights would be insane. Even Song Yadong, if he's not fighting for a big fight next, that would be a perfect matchup. Bottom line,
Robert O'Malley, but still, I think if he lost to O'Malley, it would work
for sure. And if that doesn't come to fruition, I'll throw Yadong's name in there. But the bottom line is David Martinez just passed the Rob Font test with flying colors on short notice. He is not a flash in the pan. This guy is the real deal. And if the UFC is smart, they will be building a fight night card around him the next time they go back to Mexico because he's earned it. I think he is going to be. I think this guy is going to be a champion. I'm just going to say it. Like I think this guy is really, really, really good.
I can see it.
I've said it before. Well, my whole justification in picking Martinez was I said before, like this guy is going to be a champion. Like he's got the skills. He has what it takes. So I was like, why wouldn't he be able to pass a Rob Font test? So he did it. He did it on short notice. He looked really good doing it. And hopefully, Cheeto or Figgy next would be awesome. I think That would make the most sense. Probably Cheeto. I think win or lose against Zahabi, it would probably be Cheeto next. But yeah, just some names I want to throw out there. But Martinez is him. He is definitely himmy.
Yeah, I that was a masterful performance by David Martinez. I can't remember the last time that I saw a fight where a fighter literally swung as hard as they could in every single punch and kick for the entire fight. It was unreal. It's like he didn't lose an ounce of energy or power for the entire fight. And I think Rob Font didn't do bad. I think David Martinez just completely outshined him. And that was so beyond impressive for me. I think he could be a future champion, Shrikar. I'm jumping on that bandwagon too. Like, that was impressive in your second UFC fight to come out, or it was his debut, correct? No, I don't think it was his debut.
His second fight in the UFC.
Second fight. Yeah, it was his second fight. Excuse me. Second fight in the UFC to come out and beat the number 8 contender handily. Like, it wasn't even anything. Like, there was obviously Rob Font posed a threat, but I think David Martinez was a way bigger threat. Like, if you're fighting this guy, you got to be ready to go balls to the wall for 15 or 25 minutes. No doubt. Like, actually, no doubt. And I think if that O'Malley Song Yadong fight doesn't get booked, give him Song Yadong, and that would be a generational fight in the bantamweight division. I think that would be amazing.
So good.
But
it would be so good. Yes, we are live, Vince.
We are live,
my man.
Yes, sir. What's up, my man?
Yeah, I just
We've
had
been live for an hour. If you guys are still here, like, subscribe. We're almost at 100.
Shout out to you.
Yes, sir.
That corner down there.
We got it.
We got it
over there, right there.
Yeah. But let me talk about David Martinez for a little bit, because you guys said it. You guys hit the nail on the head. This guy is the real deal. To go and beat Rob Font on short notice is insane.
Agree.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think I like Song Yadong. Seems like they want him with O'Malley, and I don't know if you want to necessarily. Do you want to speed run David Martinez necessarily?
I think he's earned.
I think you need to build it up a little bit.
Ran.
You can't just say, he beat Rob Font on a weak Noche card, and then he beat Song Yadong, and that's enough for a title shot.
But he beat Rob Font in his second fight in the UFC.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that's what we get him a title shot. Maybe you need another after Yadong, just like one more to completely solidify himself. But yeah, dude, you beat Rob Font in your second fight. First of all, we dubbed this guy as like a prospect hype derailer.
Yeah.
This guy was destroying prospects that were supposed to be the best things since sliced bread. And now he faces one of them, and boom, David Martinez says, all right, yeah, hold on, bro. This is my show right now. So,
yeah, I think with that being said, I don't know if I do think the Song Yadong Sean O'Malley fight should happen. I'm going to leave it at that. I think another fight would be the winner of Chito Vera and Ayman Zahabi coming up on October 18th in Vancouver. I think the winner of that.
I think Chito, no matter what, because if Zahabi wins, he's going up into the top 5.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to put up again, I mean, if you got, I think you're gonna want to give David Martinez someone good. I don't think you necessarily need to give them a top 5 fight. I think David Martinez is right there too, like you guys were saying about Song Yadong. Figgy also works. I know he's fighting.
Montel Jackson.
He's fighting Montel Jackson. So if he wins that fight, that would also be good too. There's a lot that needs to be done at the bantamweight division. A lot of questions are going to be answered in October. I think we're going to have a much clearer. Yeah, the majority of the bantamweight fighters, ranked fighters right now, are booked in October. So I think we're going to have a much clearer picture towards the end of the month. But David Martinez is going to be a new bantamweight contender. So watch out for him. We'll put it that way.
Hey, Lucas, Vince, what up, guys? My English is Jean Silva fraud. Nobody in Brazil likes him. We're going to get into that in a second. Do you speak Spanish? If so, please tell me so I can understand. I'm sorry, bro. We don't.
Un poco.
We try.
Niente.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Hablo un poco español, pero I'm trying to think of not enough. No necesita el capacidad para hablar español para este podcast. I don't know if that makes sense. I tried.
Good job.
Yeah, I don't know what not enough means in Spanish. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Lucas, we're gonna work on our maybe subtitles or translations or something like that.
Subtitles, translations,
so we can branch out.
Yeah, also, if you go, I think there's like some sort of AI website where if you take this video, well, once it becomes a video and you put it in there, it'll translate it for you. So if you want to go back and watch the video, there you go.
Yes, there are ways to translate it. So we'll do our best. We want to make sure. I love it, Chris. we want to. I mean, MMA is an international sport. Our goal with this podcast is to grow it to an international audience. At the end of the day, so we hope to. We're still growing this thing, Lucas. So muchas gracias para tu support. I don't know.
Obrigado.
Support, but yeah, obrigado. Sí. I'm speaking Portuguese and Spanish. Anyways, let's get to the question that everyone's been asking. Is Jean Silva a fraud? Is Jean Silva a fraud? Is Jean Silva a fraud? Jean Silva.
Yeah, yo, Sam, let's hear your take on this first.
Yeah.
All right. We got into a pretty heated argument in our chat last night about this fight. Diego Lopes wins by TKO.
I guess we did. My computer says we did. So.
Lovely. So I personally think Jean Silva is not a fraud. I think we can all agree by that. But at the end of the day, Diego Lopes won this fight and outclassed Jean Silva fully. I think, and you guys completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
Here's
outclass is a crazy term to use for that fight.
So round one. Dude, you love doing this, man.
Yeah, dude, I like the reactions.
All right. Round one. Diego Silva wins round one pretty clearly, in my opinion. Wrestles him the entire time, has him pinned. Ref almost comes in and stops the fight due to the ground and pound that's going on. Round
Sam,
one.
million dollar question. Do you think that was a 10-8?
No, it was not a 10-8. It was a 10-9.
Okay.
It was a 10-9. It was, if that was a 10-8, that would be crazy. And by the way, it's not a 10-8 because credit to Jean Silva for getting out of that. This was not a ragdoll performance by Diego Lopes. You need to give Jean Silva credit somehow. And you can give him that round two, where he started throwing brutal blows on the guy who probably has the most iron chin in the bantamweight, it's not bantamweight, featherweight division, Diego Silva.
Lopes?
But at the end,
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, Diego Lopes.
You're good.
But at the end of the day, Diego Lopes, he knew, I mean, his game plan that second round, especially once he knew he was in trouble, Jean Silva was pressing him. And what did he do? He was like, okay, you can come press me. I'm going to try to defend myself. Jean Silva's hard to defend. And I'm just going to wait for my moment because I have a round. I'm going to wait for my moment, and I'm going to strike when he's not expecting it. And that's exactly what he did. And I know why you're smiling, Shrukar, because you're going to bring up this Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards point. And so my question to that, the question that Shrukar had last night is, did Leon Edwards, was he the clear winner of that Usman fight? The answer is no. But here's the difference with Diego Lopes and Jean Silva. Diego Lopes actually had ground in this fight, and he ended it when he needed it to. At the end of the day, this is just Diego Lopes being the better fighter than Jean Silva. And Jean Silva is not a fraud, by the way. You guys are laughing so hard at me.
Keep going. I want to hear your full point.
Yeah, Jean Silva is not a fraud. Diego Lopes is a damn good fighter, and Diego Lopes is one away from a title shot, without a doubt. You lose to Volk. Okay. You beat probably the best prospect in the bantamweight division. Cool. Now give him a title eliminator. Give him Mozar Evloev. Put that fight on that. The rumor is that Volk's fighting on that December card against what we now believe is going to be Lerone Murphy since Jean Silva didn't win. Put Diego Lopes against Mozar Evloev as a title eliminator. It'll be a full year since Evloev has fought. Diego Lopes, one of the most active fighters in the UFC. In the featherweight division. I keep wanting to call it bantamweight because Jean Silva is so small for a featherweight. That's literally why I want to keep calling it bantamweight. Nonetheless, arguably the fight of the year. Give Diego Lopes the title eliminator. And as for Jean Silva, I would probably give him. Who would I give him, man? Honestly, here's actually a good one. If this is actually kind of tough because
real quick while you're figuring this out, let me respond to some comments. Comments are not necessarily delayed, like we're seeing them, but like we're trying to get our full points out before we get to you guys. I'm sorry, we're not putting you guys second. But let me get to them real quick.
We will respond to comments. If you guys comment, we will get to the comments. Don't worry.
Vince, I was also doing that as well. I was literally shouting at the TV, "Get up! Get up!" No, I was trying to get him to get up. But yes, this was tough. All right, Sam, who's next for Silva?
Next for Silva, it's so tough right now because a lot of these guys need to fight up. And Silva needs to fight. I don't think Silva needs like a full fight down. That's the thing. And I think Jean Silva will win his next fight. I want to still give him a challenge. The one guy I'm thinking of right now, I think that's obvious if he doesn't move up a division, is Brian Ortega. I think Brian Ortega will move up, though. And I think Jean Silva would. I think that you guys look a little confused.
But isn't that fighting up?
Oh, no. Brian Ortega fighting up a division to lightweight, moving up. Sorry, Brian. I think Brian Ortega is going to move up to lightweight.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, give that fight. If not, I think Yusuf Zalal would be a good one. I think he will beat Josh Emmett. I think you put those two together to get like a banger, young and up and coming bantamweight. Why do I keep calling it bantamweight? A young and upcoming featherweight fight between those two.
It's like,
and I think that would work out really well. So those are my two options right now. But I was not going to lie. I do kind of agree with Pedro right here. I was a little sad to see Jean Silva lose. He is one of my favorite fighters at this featherweight division. I got it right. Featherweight. And man, a brutal week for the fighting nerds too. But like you said, he can get very cocky sometimes. And that's exactly what he did against Diego Lopes. This is why Diego waited for his moment. And when he got it, he landed one of the most brutal elbows we've seen in a minute. Not one of the most brutal elbows. One of the bloodiest elbows we've seen in a minute. I'll put it that way.
All right.
And it's a learning moment.
Chris, should I take it away or?
It's up to you. I could go right now, or you could go. What do you feel?
I got it, man. I got it. First off, my goodness, after 2 rounds, that might have been fight of the year.
Fight of the year.
Might have been.
I want to see more, man. Come on.
Just a total war. Exactly what you want to see from a main event. Both these guys were right to get that 50 grand. And yeah, it was a great fight. Lopes hung in the pocket with Silva, even when it got dicey, and he gutted it out through some seriously wild exchanges. Wasn't sure how I felt about the stoppage at first, but Lopes cracked him with a beautiful elbow, and once they hit the ground, Silva just wasn't defending well. Lopes took advantage of every mistake and closed the show. Huge win. Dude's headed for a title eliminator next. I completely agree. But listen, Silva was the better fighter. He just fought like a lunatic. Way too reckless. Tossed the fight away multiple times. Honestly,
that's why he's then. I'll leave.
Honestly, lucky it even made it to that point before he paid the price. But you could tell, mentally, physically, he had all the tools. When both guys were at their absolute best, which in my eyes is how we determine who the better fighter is, I give it to Jean Silva. I still give it to him. I really hope he comes back sharper because the ceiling is still sky high for him. I am a huge Jean Silva fan. I have been defending him recklessly for yesterday and into today. But to say that this was an outclassing is grossly misjudging what this fight actually was. I do not think this was an outclassing in the slightest. It was a war. 2 guys were swinging at each other recklessly. And I mentioned in my breakdown, if Diego Lopes got it into a situation where both guys are chucking heat and it turns into a coin flip fight, he would get the better of it. Jean Silva was doing such a good job. Every single exchange on the feet, he won right up until that spinning elbow. That is not an outclassing. I don't care how good the knockout was. I don't care that it stunned him, because I could argue the same thing about Kamaru and Leon. I'm not taking Leon as a better fighter over Kamaru because he landed that head kick. Greatest knockout of all time in our opinions. You can go watch that video. We literally debated what's the greatest knockout of all time, and we all agreed it was Leon and Kamaru. That does not make him the better fighter than Kamaru Usman. It does not mean that Kamaru got outclassed in that fight, because he didn't. Kamaru was actually outclassing him for 4 rounds. So I think there has to be refined terms, refined definitions mainly on what we call an outclassing, because that wasn't. I really don't think so. He got caught, and he was very stupid. I will say that. Jean Silva was way too reckless in that fight, and it's something that he has to fix going forward. It's something that I think he will fix going forward. He will be more disciplined in the future. For all you guys saying the fighting nerds are done, keep that same energy. Keep it. I'd love to see you get proven wrong.
I completely agree with that.
Because Jean Silva is going to come back, and he is going to do Jean Silva things. And remember, everyone on MMA Twitter, oh yeah, the fighting nerds are the next big thing. These guys are awesome. Prates loses. They're frauds. Caio loses in a number 1 contender fight. He's a fraud. Silva loses in a title eliminator. He's a fraud. Hoofy, I understand. But come on, y'all. Don't change like that. I want you guys to keep the same energy. There's a reason why I defend Silva so much, and because I think he's still legit. I'm always going to believe in the skill set that I see. He's going to be perfectly fine. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, crazy fight like that. I was on the edge of my seat for every single second of that fight. I was screaming at the screen, please, Silva, get up, bro. You got it. I didn't think he was going to get up.
Yeah. And we'll talk about fight of the year in a moment too, which one? This was up there.
He made a cardinal sin mistake of having Diego in full guard and then bumping him up into absolute deadly top mount, where you cannot do anything, because basically he's just sitting on your chest and you can't use your hips anymore to bump him out of guard, to bump him, roll, do anything like that. And Diego knew that. He's a tremendous grappler. You cannot give him those inches in the fight game. Can't give him an advantage in his place of comfort. And Silva did, but his dog came out from inside of him and just said, I am not losing in this way. Not right now, at least. And he scrambled and was, I wouldn't say defending, I was saying fighting to survive as hard as I think I've ever seen a UFC fighter do. And it was awesome. And he got up, obviously, and he took it to him on the feet. And I think Silva was there's a misconception, because obviously someone gets knocked out. Oh, okay, they're the better stand-up fighter. It's like that's not necessarily true in my opinion. Jean Silva had a great fight in the stand-up game, and Diego Lopes had a great fight in the ground game. After that first takedown in the first round, Silva did a solid job of rolling with the takedowns and the grappling exchanges, the ones that were few and far in between after the first round, by somewhat, I was going to say negating Diego's strength, but he didn't negate it. He kind of let it happen. And then he just adapted to it very well, in terms of, like, Diego took him down, and then Jean Silva, he had a hook in on Diego's right arm, and he was able to get outside of it and then reverse it on Diego's stand up and then start tagging him. Jean Silva was the better fighter on the feet. I know that he got knocked out by a spinning elbow, but he was the better fighter on the feet. And sometimes the better fighters just get caught. That's just what happens. Like, I'm not saying it's Silva Weidman, but like Silva, way better fighter on the feet. And Chris Weidman caught him. Obviously, completely different circumstances. What I've been saying is Jean Silva got Aaron Pico'd. And I think that might be the new term for this. He rushed in, bum rushed him. He was doing very well. Pico, except in the Lerone fight, it actually seemed like he was outclassing Lerone Murphy. Like he was doing very well, pressure, and he paid the price for it. And that's exactly what Jean Silva did. Except the one thing that Jean Silva did that Pico didn't is had an emotional aspect in this fight. He let his emotions get to him. And in the fight game, that is rule number one. No. You cannot do that, because once you concede to your brain and your heart of what you are feeling, everything that you know goes out the window. And clearly it did. Jean Silva rushed in. He got caught with a crazy spinning back elbow. Props to Diego for landing that shot. But I don't think that Diego was like, I would say Diego was waiting for that moment, but not from the first round. I think that was just a very spontaneous spinning elbow. Because Jean Silva, first of all, I saw something on Twitter saying Jean Silva 0 for 3 on spinning elbows. Diego Lopes 1 for 1. Like, what fight? First of all, what fight was that person watching?
Landed the spinning elbows.
Yeah, Jean Silva literally landed 2 spinning back elbows on Lopes. He just has a cinder block for a chin. It was a very good fight. I think Silva was. It's so hard for me to say he's the better fighter because they were both great in their own aspects of the fight game. Diego Lopes was obviously the better fighter on the ground. And in my opinion, even though Silva got knocked out, he was the better fighter on the feet. He was piecing him up, landing. And just because he didn't get knocked down or knocked out, I think that people are going to discredit that part of the fight that Silva had. He did very well in the stand-up. Many of the punches that he landed on Diego Lopes would have killed any other fighter. It just so happens that Diego Lopes is an absolute dog, and sometimes that's what you gotta deal with. But I think Silva did a great job, and Diego Lopes I think he took inspiration from Jean Silva throwing all those spinning back elbows at him and said, "I'm gonna get you with one of my own," and it just so happened to be at the right moment when he was rushing in. But I think Silva. I think he is the better fighter. I still think he would give Volk the biggest test instead of Diego. And we saw what happened with Diego and Volk.
So
didn't work out.
You guys, okay. So to that point, I will say, I think when it's all said and done, I think Jean Silva will be a better fighter than Diego Lopes at the end of the day.
I think he's a better fighter right now.
I don't. I think Diego Lopes is still the better fighter. I mean, and we're going to have to agree to disagree with that because frankly, there's no way I'm being moved that Jean Silva is a better fighter than Diego Lopes.
Okay, why is Diego the better fighter?
If they rematched, who are you picking?
Diego Lopes. Again, I'm absolutely picking
I'm picking Jean Silva. Okay.
I picked Diego Lopes to win the first fight. I'm picking him to win the second fight. I need to see more out of Jean Silva to prove. And Diego Lopes also had flaws in this fight.
What more do you need to see?
Yeah, what more do I need to see? I need to see a more composed fighter. I need to see a guy with a better fight IQ. I need to see a guy that's not going to get pounded on the ground round one.
But so
next year, if they rematch, do you think he wouldn't have that yet?
Okay, wait, but we're all right.
I'm not saying the rematch tomorrow. I'm just saying in the future.
If we're talking about,
it depends on how their trajectories go. You can't. I'm not going to predict a fight a year down the line. I think a year from now, with how I see both of those fighters going, and their trajectories going, I would pick Jean Silva. If they're fighting tomorrow, though, I'm picking Diego Lopes all day.
Diego Lopes was just as uncomposed as Jean Silva. He just didn't rush in. Like, he was just as uncomposed. He was swinging like a wild madman, and he's just the one that landed the ending shot.
And you're right, Diego was uncomposed as well. I just thought he was a little more composed than Jean Silva. And
I'll agree with that, but like I think Diego was definitely uncomposed. Like he wasn't fighting like a technical fight. He was fighting like, all right, we're throwing down, let's go.
Yeah, Diego has his flaws. Do not get me wrong with that. But nonetheless, this was arguably fight of the year. And I want to bring up this comment. What are the other contenders? I think you have to go Royval Van.
Clearly either this or Van Royval. And honestly, it's hard. I'm biased. I literally saw Van Royval live.
I would say my top 3 this year would be Van Royval, this, and Umar Marab.
Umar Marab top 3?
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, I won't discredit your opinion. I have
like that fight a
Royval.
lot.
I have Royval Van this fight, and then Duncan Rombechki at UFC in the
That was a
Apex.
good one too.
That was insane.
I go Van Royval 1, Lopez Silva 2. I'm trying to think what else happened this year.
Max Poirier.
Good shout, but
it
I
was
don't
good.
think it was fight of the year material. I think it was fight of the year material, maybe just off like narrative, but I don't think the fight itself was there. I think Bilal JDM would be my 3.
Oh, that's a good fight.
That's a good
That was
one.
a war.
That's an underrated one. I'm also looking at Tapology. Actually, Tapology has that at 2. They have
Volk Lopez is also very slept on.
Yeah, they have Merab Umar at 3, Sadikov and Mota at 4 from.
Wow, that's a good shout.
That's a good shout from Baku. And this is Tapology. Yuri and Jamal Hill. That was a great fight. But
that's a good. I don't think it was fight of the year.
It was not fight of the year. I didn't really see much from Jamal Hill in that fight. Volk Lopez, yeah. I mean, dude, Lopez been in 2 of the best fights this year. Let's be real. 2 top 10 fights this year. This guy is a moneymaker, man. I'm telling you. And they need to put him up. I mean, they need to give him like a. It's hard because I think he should be in a title eliminator next, but I don't see how that title eliminator, especially if you want to put it on the same card. What the UFC's been doing, they've been putting it on the same card as the Volk card.
They should just let him fight Yair. Finally.
I was going to say Diego versus Aljo because Yair doesn't want to fight him.
Aljo,
I think a matchup with Aljo is honestly a banger. Like Sterling is top 5 guy at 145 now, and I think he deserves a title eliminator.
That's a co-main. That's either an A co-main event or that's a B main event for a big fight night. And when I talk about big fight night, I mean maybe like a Saudi Arabia fight night where there's going to be a ton of money going into that.
Yeah, it's definitely a crossroads fight, which is good. You always want to find like the crossroads fights when we're talking about.
It's not going to be like one of these Nashville fights, Lewis and Talasson Teixeira. It's going to be a co-main on a big paper. It doesn't even need to be a big pay-per-view. Just be a good co-main event.
Yeah, Pedro, I agree. And with Sam too, I guess. Movsar or Aljo. It has to be.
It has to be. It's a title eliminator. It depends. Really just depends on what the UFC thinks of Movsar Evloev. And also, like, what's the deal with Arnold Allen right now? That's the other question. I feel like nobody knows.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Arnold Allen is doing right now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you just go up to one other Pedro's first comment in this little chain? Yeah. John Silva versus Pico would literally feed families.
It would feed families.
That would be one of the craziest fights I think I would ever come across in
Silva by murder.
Yeah. I would also love to see.
I mean, I think they might murder each other if they both just rush in with their chin up to the sky.
Yeah, that would be like 2 pressure guys. That would be crazy. That would be so crazy. I think John Silva's next fight, you kind of alluded to it, Sam. I think win or lose, that's a law fight. It should be Josh Emmett. Like, I think that is the perfect next test. Because
you think it should be Josh Emmett? I thought it should be Zalal.
Nah, because Emmett will it'll be a similar test to Diego in which Emmett has an iron chin and is going to bring the fight to John Silva. So if you want, that's why I posed the question of if they rematched, who would win? Because we could be seeing a very like mirror image of that rematch in this fight. And honestly, after he beat Bryce, I thought that was the route they would go.
Interesting. I think he could beat Emmett. I would say I mean it also depends on how that Zalal fight goes, but I think right now I would probably pick Diego Lopez, not Diego Lopez, John Silva over Josh Emmett. I think I think there are levels between Diego Lopez and Josh Emmett. I will also say
there are levels, but I think like the stylistic matchup would be more or less the same.
It would be. You're right about that.
What each guy is like fearing compared to the other.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts before we head off, boys?
I'm still defending John Silva. He is the better fighter. I know we said we were going to agree to disagree and do all that stuff, but
nonetheless, we can agree on the fact that John Silva is not a fraud, and this is just the beginning for him. It's a needed loss. We'll put it that way. He's going to learn from this. He's going to be confident. He's going to be cocky as hell like he always is, and he's going to completely rain terror on this UFC even after losing this fight.
Again, it's literally the Protest Gary situation. He had to lose to Gary. Like, that was the only way he was going to get better. They all needed these losses. To say they're frauds is insane. They literally have all lost in like big time fights besides Hoofy. But even Hoofy was fighting for a ranking. So he was kind of getting that step up. They're all going to come back stronger. Like I think they're all going to win their next fight. I hope to God they don't do Whitaker and Bahayo, because now that's going to be clipped and I'm going to have to pick Kyle Bahayo to beat Robert Whitaker, and that's going to suck.
But crossroads.
But again, man, the fighting nerds are still here. They're not going to go anywhere. So keep the same energy. They're going to come back, prove everyone wrong, and everyone's just going to be on the hype train again. Just like with Protez. Got that spinning back elbow knockout over Jeff Neal. Everyone is suddenly riding the hype train again. But that's MMA Twitter for you. That's just the way the trends go. Stick to a fighter and stick to it with them is what I'll say. Don't turn your back on them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I know a lot of people saying that Jean Silva is cocky, which, you know what, he is. He kind of has a little bit of overconfidence, like that little characteristic about him. But if you knew what he went through in his lifetime, which a lot of people actually don't, go look that up. And that might change your opinion. This guy's been through hell and back. You know what? He deserves to be a little bit cocky. He made it this far in life. Let him exude confidence for a little bit. But I'm telling you, I think we're going to see a different Jean Silva after this. This is going to be the ultimate learning lesson for him. And we are going to see a different, I'm not even going to say animal, different beast in his next fight. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. But great fight. Absolutely amazing. Yep. I would say solid card too. Could have been more Mexican Americans on the card, but we already crossed that bridge.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, that'll do it for this episode. Long episode.
Yes, sir.
Fun main event to recap. Guys, we are 4 subscribers away from
4 subs.
We are so close.
Subs.
So
right
hit
there.
that sub button the corner. I see in the top corner there are 4 people watching this. Hey, I don't know if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for, first of all? A. And B, if you are
excuse me, one of them is my mother. She is subscribed to this channel.
Well, shout out,
hi, Mrs. Regendrin.
Well, the other thing I was going to say, if you are not subscribed, let's go. Vince, my guy, we are 3 away now.
Hey, shout out to you, Vince. Thank you.
Shout out to you. But,
Vince,
and we have 3 viewers now. Unfortunately, we lost a viewer. Rest in peace. But
it was my mom.
Damn. Well, the 3 viewers who are with us right now, share this with one friend. And he followed on IG too. Let's go.
Oh, Vince, my God. Much love to you, Vince. Much love. Thank you.
Man.
Guys, share this with just one friend. Tell them to subscribe, and we're going to hit 100 subscribers. We are so close. We're going to give you a good 100 subscriber special. I'm telling you right now. It's coming. We've had ideas. We got a big one coming soon once we hit 100 subscribers. So
definitely
stay tuned for that. Hop on the train while you can. But that'll do it.
Also, we're live on Tuesday. We are live on Tuesday. If you're here and it's your first time, catch up with us on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. But with Srikar Gendron and Chris Rohr, I am Sam Corcoran. Vince, thank you for tuning in. As for everyone else, thank you for tuning in. As always, we'll see you on Tuesday night.